From 12 News, this is Newsmakers.
Welcome to Newsmakers. I'm Tim White. This week, President Biden announced a date for the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. Rhode Island U.S. Senator Jack Reed has been a key Democratic voice on Afghanistan policy for years, warning against a hasty pullout from the region. My colleague Ted Nesi talked with Reed on Thursday. Here now is their conversation.
Senator Reed, thanks for taking the time to talk with me on a busy day on Capitol Hill.
Thank you.
So there's big news, obviously, with the president's decision around Afghanistan. I want to start with the obvious question. Yes or no, do you support withdrawing American troops from Afghanistan by September 11th?
I think the president made probably the hottest decision of his maybe entire tenure. There were no good answers. I think the president determined that this was the best approach for the national security of the United States. But this decision should be viewed as not closure, but transition, because we still have very vital interest in the region. And the ultimate test of the decision will be going forward that we're able to effectively disrupt any type of counterterrorism issue and maintain stability and literally continue to protect the homeland.
You didn't say yes there, and you're being
I think the decision was, of the choices, appropriate. I think the spectrum of choices would be one, to leave immediately, which would be a disaster given the ability to just logistically move troops out, move around. Second, the choice of staying indefinitely would, I think, have incurred direct attacks on U.S. forces by Taliban, and also would have prompted probably a request, at least, or a reconsideration of increasing our forces there, and once again getting into a serious fight with significant forces on the ground, and with the probability, given the past 20 years, that this would not solve the problem. It would merely buy more time. And so I think the president's conclusion was this is something that's in the best interest of the United States. But I think he recognized that this is going to have profound consequences to Afghanistan, to the region, and most critically, we have to maintain our counterterrorism. But of the three choices, stay, go immediately, or take some time to get out in an orderly way, was probably the best choice of three bad choices.
Has your view evolved then from, you've expressed, and I know, and I'm not trying to ask a gotcha question. I mean, you've said both, we can't stay there forever, and I'm very concerned about what happens when we leave, and you've been saying that for a while. Right. Has your view shifted more, even though you're saying this is not a great option, it's the best option, about getting out?
My view over 20 years, and having put my first visit to Afghanistan was January 2002, 3 or 4 months after 9/11, and also we had not fully secured the country yet, and 18 or 20 times visiting the country. You have to take different positions in terms of the facts you see on the ground and developing. And I think there were key opportunities that were missed. First, in 2002, or indeed before that, in November of 2001, the commander in Afghanistan was told, hey, stop planning for Iraq. We're going to Iraq. That was by Secretary Rumsfeld. So from the beginning, when we had huge popular support, we had totally routed the Taliban. We were in a position to really have much more flexibility. We were told, forget Afghanistan, we're going to Iraq. I think that was the most disastrous decision, not only for Iraq, but for Afghanistan. And then also we have a situation where the agreement that Trump made in Doha, basically the real heart of it was, you don't attack us and we'll leave in May. All that the talk about disassociating from Al-Qaeda Taliban breaking, none of that was enforceable. None of that's happened. And so President Biden was looking at a May 1st deadline, which would have been a trigger for, I think, enhanced Taliban actions against Americans. But then you look back, too, is for 20 years, we've been trying to build a credible Afghan military force. We've not been able to do that. And that's over multiple administrations, both Republican and Democrat. For 20 years, we've been trying to build a credible
I have to pause you there, Senator Reid. That feels like a huge, as someone who was in high school when this war began, that feels like a huge failure.
That is, yes, I think there's no other way to characterize it. And again, it's over multiple administrations, not one president. And it's not without trying. It's not without resources. It's a function also, too, of the failure to, and we can't do this, the Afghans have to do, is creating a functional government that makes training an army and putting it in the field appropriately a priority. We never really saw that. And then financially, there's no real resources for the Afghan government. They depend upon international aid. And when you see this evolving over 20 years, you have to take that information, and President Biden has been seeing this for 20 years too. As a United States Senator, I've traveled with them overseas when we were both in the Senate, and also as Vice President of the United States. So I think this is not an easy choice, but the point now is that we have to view this not as closure. And my fear is, okay, we're out of let's go, that's history. It's a transition because there are still threats to the United States in that region. The threats in Afghanistan with terrorist groups, multiple terrorist groups. There are threats in Pakistan because of the instability of the country and they have nuclear weapons. There's threats between India and Pakistan because they have a historic rivalry and they both have nuclear weapons. So we can't just say, okay, we're leaving. What we have to do is reconfigure our presence to be regional, to have a counterterrorism effort that is on the periphery, but with no doubt that if we see a dangerous operation within Afghanistan, we'll have to take it out. We did that under President Clinton unsuccessfully. We went after bin Laden with missile strikes from the air, and we missed him by a couple of hours, and that was many, many months before 9/11. But we have to be on the offensive. And one other point, too, is that there's sometimes a tendency to say, well, Afghanistan is just a special place. The last serious foreign terrorist attack, jihadist attack on the United States, was in 2010, the failed Times Square bombing. That was planned, and the individual was trained in Pakistan, who is our ally. So this is a very complicated situation in terms of counterterrorism, but we have to be up to the task. It's going to cost resources, but more importantly, in my view, it's going to require a continued focus. You know, we can't be looking in the rearview mirror. We're out of there. We've got to be looking, what's the threat today? How do we handle it?
Two quick final questions, because I know your time is short, Senator. First, how did you find out the president had made the final decision?
The Secretary of Defense called me. It was no surprise because our conversations, Secretary Austin and I, are frequent basis, that this was being fully deliberated. In fact, this was very carefully thought out with advice from the military, from diplomats, from experts, et cetera. This was not a quick off-the-cuff decision. Secretary Austin called me and said, we have made the decision, the president has made the decision, and it's going to be a withdrawal on September 11th, and we're in the process of implementing the decision.
Final question. When was the last time you visited in Afghanistan, and do you think you'll visit again at some point in the future?
The last time I visited, this is just kind of scratching my, was prior to the COVID, so it would be, I presume, late or sometime in 2019, probably. 19. But
I can double check. That's fine. Do you think you'll go again?
Absolutely. I think, again, if the situation allows, but going back to the terms of the Trump agreement, if we have anything there, it'll be a small embassy in probably a very hostile environment. But I think it's important to maintain, as I said, we have to maintain a focus on this. We can't put this as, okay, it's the rearview mirror, we're done. Because it's still that whole region, again, both Afghanistan, Pakistan, Turkestan, all those areas, the potential for projecting a terrorist attack exists, and also the potential for instability and conflict between nations, and particularly nations with nuclear weapons, can't be sort of relegated off as something, a minor issue.
That was Senator Jack Reed on Thursday, and I'm joined by 12 News Politics editor Ted Nesi. Ted, we have talked to Senator Reed many times about this very topic, and he has always expressed real concern about pulling troops out of that region. And listening to that interview, Jack Reed is a very level-headed guy, and but just having interviewed him many times, he was truly torn about this decision by President Biden.
Yeah, I mean, if you listen closely, he never actually says it's a positive decision, or
right.
at least that it's
not
going to go well.
full-throated support.
Yeah, no, in fact, I had to kind of push him at the
Yes,
top.
you did.
Do you even support this then? And he sort of begrudgingly said yes. And I think, I know I've certainly heard from Republican viewers who say, they think it's just he would have criticized Trump if Trump had...
I wanted to ask you that. I mean, so President Trump had also called for a timeline, full removal of troops from Afghanistan, an earlier timeline, though, I think May, right? This is September 11th, I think largely symbolic for President Biden. And I wondered if this were President Trump that called for a September 11th withdrawal of troops, if Jack Reed would have even given tacit support like he did.
Yeah, and look, I mean, I know Senator Reed, from having interviewed him, would say, first of all, he just has more trust in President Biden's stewardship of the Pentagon as a more traditional president with more experience. Frankly, someone who's been engaged on Afghanistan policy for a long time. I mean, don't forget, President Biden, when he was Vice President Biden, was counseling Obama against the surge in Afghanistan over 10 years ago. So this is no surprise, really, that this is where Biden has landed. But I think, I think Reed, and I think even for years now when he's come on Newsmakers and we've asked him about Afghanistan, he's been in a similar place to where he is now. He thinks the region remains important and there are real issues for the United States there, and he is concerned about a vacuum like we saw when the U.S. pulled out of Iraq and ISIS came up. And yet it becomes harder and harder to defend to the American people why what was thought originally was going to be a bit of a surgical, move into Afghanistan, get Osama bin Laden, get rid of the Taliban and get out, is now led to 20 years of troop presence on the ground. So I think it's interesting to hear that. And undoubtedly, Reed is a loyal soldier. He was literally a soldier, of course. And I think he's always going to have trouble breaking with a Democratic president on such a big issue, especially as armed services
And you
chairman.
tallied how many times he went to Afghanistan. What did you write, 18?
18 times
that's
so far, yes, since 2002.
In 20 years, that's a lot. Finally, before we go to break, just one interesting inside baseball thing here, where Ted connected with Senator Reed was what's called a Senate hideaway, right? So these are the offices that are in the U.S. Capitol that senators can escape to if there's lengthy floor debates or something like that. And his hideaway has improved.
Yeah, I believe if my memory serves right, Jack Reed told me that his current hideaway, where you saw him speaking from there in the Capitol, used to belong to John McCain. And obviously, with John McCain's passing, it was freed up and it was given to Reed. The hideaways are fascinating. You and I have both been in hideaways interviews with senators. There's no directory. They're kind of secretive. They say that you don't know how or why you're getting your hideaway. Some of them are palatial, like Ted Kennedy's was famously huge, and others are maybe smaller. But certainly seniority plays a role. And after 24 years, I think now in the Senate, I think Jack Reed's gotten one of the nicer ones, because it's not just about size of the hideaway; it's about how close are you to the floor.
It's the location, right?
Exactly.
How quickly can you get to the?
Yeah. So just one of those interesting inside baseball things from Washington.
Absolutely. All right, we're going to take a break here. When we come back, meet your new Lieutenant Governor. We'll bring highlights from the Sabina Matos press conference. Stay with us. You're watching Newsmakers.